was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Well, hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and today we have Nicole Landon with us, and we're going to be talking a little bit about something called the Meatsack Experience. I'm pretty excited about that, for sure, and we're also going to be diving into healing without medication. So we have a lot to dive into today, but first we do that, I want to thank our sponsor of today's show, Peaceful Living. Why do we allow stress to compound in our lives, affecting our sleep and our daily rituals? The truth is we all live with stress. That's the truth. But imagine it would feel like if you didn't suffer from stress. Are you ready to feel better, sleep better, and change your overall relationship with tension? Peaceful Living can help you bring more peaceful moments into your day. Peaceful Living offers simple tools, live streams, and on-demand classes, and a customized self-care success plan. Imagine if you had a simple way to slow down and restore your energy without taking big chunks of time away from your schedule. We know it's possible. We're here to help. And the founder, Roberta Hughes, will be your guide each step of the way. So visit Peaceful Living online at peacefulliving.com to begin your journey with a free membership. You can use the code LEAP to receive your first month for free. That's right. Super exciting. So Nicole, sorry, I stopped you real quick there in the beginning, but we were going live and getting ready to record. And I wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to jump into everything about you without starting right at the start when the gun went off. And I'm going to introduce you to everyone who is listening today. You guys are really in for a treat. Not only is Nicole Landon one of the coolest people I've ever met, she exuberates this amazing energy that cannot be misplaced for anything but true love and just, this energy of acceptance. Nicole Landon has been in the medical field for over 19 years and is currently a registered nurse. Nicole recently launched, or is launching, I heard, a podcast named the Meatsack Experience. I know you all want to know what it is. We're going to dive into it in a minute. In this podcast, she reveals how powerfully creative we are as humans and how you can tune into your body to reveal pain and disease, and most of all, manage your own meat sack. She provides insight into the healing world that requires no medication. The topics discussed in her podcast will empower you to live in alignment with who you are and your badass future self that is waiting to be revealed. Nicole, welcome to today's show.
Thank you for having me so much, Colleen.
And I know you can do it too, because I've watched you do it. And I think one thing I'm starting to see a common denominator of, Nicole, is that a lot of individuals like you that have been in the medical field for years and years and decades are really getting tired of kind of the Western way of pill popping. And when you talk about meat sacks and healing our bodies, first of all, let's tell everybody what a meat sack is, because I would love to reveal that on today's show. People are like, what's a meat sack? I don't know what she's talking. I don't eat meat. Everybody knows that. But
I don't
what
either.
is a meat sack?
I just thought it would be a really funny way to express that it's our container that we inhabit while we're here on Earth.
That's right. And it is, right? So
Yes.
Flesh is meat, which is what is contained on our bodies, which is temporary. We all know that's very temporary. And we've come down to this earth. We're now in these containers, and we can either abuse these containers or we can take care of these containers. And I know you've recently had a lot of medical changes for you. I know that you've worked with individuals that, consistently have issues. Tell us what your journey has been like in the medical field and why you're shifting and now creating a podcast and doing some of these changes. Let's kind of roll it back to the beginning. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Sure, I can absolutely do that. So I've always kind of had a fascination with the body. I knew at a young age that you needed to take care of it. I feel like everybody has the power to talk to your guides or talk to the other side, so to speak. And I've kind of been doing that since I was a little kid. And I've really never lost sight of that. There has been times where it's definitely waxed and waned, depending on what I've been going through. But I really had a health scare. I've had a couple now. Back when I was around 26, I was diagnosed with endometriosis. And that was really the pivotal part for me when I started understanding and learning that there is a different way to treat your body other than putting a pill into it and coming back to the doctor 6 weeks later and seeing if that works out for you. I've realized that that's definitely just a Band-Aid. It's not a cure. And our bodies are always wanting to heal. I've worked with a lot of cancer patients and they've healed themselves with diet, a lot of emotional work and the like. So I know if I can do it, certainly everybody else in the free world can do it if they want to. It's just how much effort do you want to put into yourself?
Yeah. We've had some dynamic stories on this podcast. And for those of you that remember Jeree Bowers, I don't know if she shared it on this podcast or in one of our events at the LEAP community, because we do have so many events in the LEAP community. So if you haven't checked that out because you're, you don't want visibility, you want to stay the world's best kept secret, then the LEAP community is not for you. But if you're ready to expand your influence and attract the right clients and get more visibility for yourself, then go over to ColleenBiggs.net and click on community and find out how you can join there. But Jeree Bowers, one of our members, broke her back. And when she was in the hospital, they said, "You're never going to walk out of here. You will be in a wheelchair forever." She prayed for 3 days straight in the hospital, and they called her the God lady or the faith lady or the Jesus lady. I don't remember. She healed her back and walked out 4 days later. They were like, "This is a miracle." And she said, "You're dang right it is. The Father completely healed my body. And I believed that I was going to be healed, and being in a wheelchair was not going to be what was possible for me." So I think what I hear you saying is that emotion and energy gets trapped in our bodies. But there are things like, Dr. Joe Dispenza will say, if your guts are hanging out of you because you've been in a car accident, that's a time you seek medical help. Sure. Right? I think you agree to that, right? Like,
don't be trying to heal yourself at that point.
Yeah, you've been in the emergency room, and if appendix bursts or something like that happens, seek medical attention. However, with repetitive work and taking care of our emotions and taking care of our health and taking care of our bodies, we can create this movement so that we avoid a lot of those ailments that happen. Yes. It seems like people that are victims or angry all the time tend to have a lot of ailments. Like they're sick with everything. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. And honestly, they're going to have liver congestion because anger is associated with your liver. That's where it is actually stored. That's where anger is stored.
Oh.
So and when your liver gets congested, it starts backing up into everything else. So each of your organs do house different emotions.
See, this is why I know your podcast is going to be outrageously so super contagious and viral, and everyone's going to love it, because you're going to be talking to all of us in a medical terms that we don't understand because we haven't been in the medical field for 19 years. And I love that. I love when I can tie it back, because I don't know, you have your individuals out there that don't have an education or a background in medical. And then they're talking about chakras or all these other things, but they don't have the medical history that aligns with what you're talking about. And I love that there's kind of this marriage between, in this bringing together the two worlds so that anyone who is very much medically, charged, someone who only practices, meaning they have a headache, they take an Advil, they have an ache, they take a pill, they have this, they go to the doctor, like they treat everything through medicine and, Western medicine. Mm-hmm. That person, I think, is going to benefit so much, Nicole, from this podcast because of how you're going to have these conversations. So what lights you up the most about doing this podcast, and why have you been waiting so long to get it out there?
Because I feel like it's important for everybody to share their experiences, because we've all had health issues, right? Every single one of us on this planet. Like, we haven't gone through life without having some sort of ailment, whether it be you got, a cold, or you've had like a really massive traumatic injury happen to you. And so I feel like if we just start sharing experiences in our containers, knowledge is power. And if my experiences can help somebody else overcome something that they're going through, like, why not? Why not share the knowledge and power that I've gained to others so that they can, be empowered to heal themselves? Because your body does want to heal. It never wants to not heal, ever.
Yeah. And it might even, come down to individuals who feel like, I've tried everything.
That's where I was.
Yeah. The doctors have, I went in and had CT scans and all kinds of scans done because I had multiple migraines consistently for years. No one could figure out what was wrong. And the doctors literally looked at me and said, I have no idea what was wrong with you. Do you know when I terminated the relationship I was in at that time, and decided to go on my own and raise my children on my own and break off that relationship and just decide, like, I'm going to do me, and this is how life is going to be from now on. I'm not going to worry about all this, other stuff. My migraines went away. And that was like, I don't know, 20 years ago. I haven't had a migraine. How crazy is that, Nicole?
It's not crazy at all to me,
right?
Because I know that your body wants, stress affects us in varying different ways, right? Yeah. And we don't really know until we take or remove that stressor what actually happened and how your body actually is like, wow, I've been carrying this burden for so long. And once you remove that burden, miraculously, here you are, right? Like, you're like, wow, I don't experience half of the stuff that I used to experience. Like, that's wild to me. And that's what your body does. That's what your body is meant to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think you're right about that, because people don't know how to do it. They don't understand the medical term of it, or I get, maybe that's what I love this marriage that you have going on, because you have so much of the medical knowledge. Now, I just want to make sure everyone knows that the advice she's giving on her show is purely, advice for her. It's not by any means like, what would I call it? Medical advice for them to go and,
Yeah, like, don't be trying to go out and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to just dump all my medication and stop taking everything and just go it alone. Like, your body needs support when you're taking it through this transition. It absolutely, like, for example, when I was healing myself from endometriosis, there were a lot of supplements I took. I had to completely revamp my diet because I didn't know how to eat as a kid. I mean, I was raised on a, standard, typical American diet. And I had no idea that food was actually meant to fuel you in a way that's different from how people think it's meant to fuel you. I mean, people just eat to eat because they're like, oh yeah, I just need to have these calories. No, your body, when you start stripping away all of that and you detox your body to the point where you can start listening to your body will actually tell you what is good for it and what's not. And what's good for me may not be good for you, and vice versa. And I think that's really important to know and understand as you're trekking down this journey of, total healing. Because I reversed my condition. I reversed my endometriosis. I don't have it any longer. And it took a lot of emotional healing, especially for my femininity. and really stepping into that. And also diet. I mean, diet's huge. And, energy work too, because we're all energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed. And so you have to change some of the things that you're doing into a different sort of path to create that energy and a different momentum.
Yeah. And do you think that the issue that exists is so many people just aren't patient? They don't want to do the work. They just want a quick fix.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're living in a world that is definitely instant gratification driven. It really is. I think we all want everything now. And that's not really how your body works. Your skin takes several days to weeks to regenerate. You have to give it that space and freedom to be able to do that, right? Yeah. So like eating during that time very properly is going to yield different results than you taking in candy bars every day and trying to wait for the same results, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about being mindful of what you're doing and why you're doing it. If you're just eating and you're being mindless, then you're not going to really gain any real results. Yeah. Because you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And so I do think awareness is a really, really big factor in healing yourself.
Yeah. So talking about these meat sacks that we're in, right? These bodies, we can decide to treat them like temples, meaning we can put in really good foods that are good for our bodies. And we can, take care of our bodies and do what it is that our body needs for nourishing, or we can damage them. And I see so many individuals, because sometimes it takes 20, 30, 50 years for that damage to show up. A good example is skin cancer, right? When I was a kid, we didn't have seatbelts and we didn't have sunscreen. And so when I was a teenager, when we would lay out, we just slathered on baby oil and we would literally lay on the roof of our house. You know what I mean? And we would use those, just like they show, the tinfoil to reflect the sun. I know it sounds horrible and I'm so suffering for it today, but knowledge is power. We didn't have that knowledge back then to say the damage that you're doing to your body today, you won't even see it for 40 years. And then when it does come to the surface in 40 years, watch out. Yeah. I guess it's the same for smoking, right? For people who smoke, the damage is done, years and years down the road is when they actually suffer from it. Not if they are smoking in their 20s, or same thing with drinking, right? Yeah. And the issues that they have in their liver, like you talked about.
So the reason why you don't really necessarily see it right away is because, again, your body underneath the surface is trying to keep you out of that red zone, right? Like it wants you to be healthy. And so it's doing everything that it possibly can. And when you're younger, it works overtime. But you have no awareness, because I don't know, or I don't necessarily feel like we are always in our bodies. And what I mean by that is feeling into your body. What does it feel like to be inside of your container? Every little thing that happens inside of your body, pain is a huge indicator that something is going wrong. It could be emotional. It could be something that you ate. You have to listen to it, and then you have to track it back to what is pertinent to you.
Yeah.
In that moment. So again, your body is just trying to get you to heal that whole time. And so when it gets to that 40, 50 year mark, and you start showing all of these signs of like, oh crap, right? You've known that you have taxed your body so much that your body is just like, I can't compensate anymore. Yeah. I've got to show you what's happening to me. Yeah. And then that's why people, wind up with skin cancer, COPD, and all the other stuff that, we have as chronic illnesses here in America now.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. Like we would need 5 hours at
For
least
sure.
to go over all of those. And why do you think, the only thing I can attribute it back to, Nicole, is that people want instant gratification and they don't want to spend the time, well, let's use this example. You and I both know meditation creates new neural pathways in your brain, correct? Yes. So if you meditate it creates new neural pathways in your brain.
Yes.
Yet most people do not meditate.
Mm-mm.
And meditation can be 5 minutes a day.
It can be 2.
Right. It can be 30 seconds.
Mhm.
So a meditation of 2 minutes a day or 3 minutes a day, like you could literally meditate the second you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. If it's so healthy for us and creates new neural pathways in our brain, why are people not doing it?
I can't answer for the whole entire world, but I do think that we are, it's like, oh, I don't have enough time, or, oh, that's not going to work, or how could I ever, I think a lot of those beliefs creep in to us, and we just don't think that it's going to ever work for us because, well, why would it? Right.
Right.
And it's not until you really, because I was one of those people, I'll be honest, when I started down my trek, when I first was diagnosed with endometriosis and they said that they were going to take my uterus out at the age of 32, I thought, over my dead body. And it wasn't until you pushed me to that point did I want to change, and so it's like, you have to sort of get to that place where the ramification is large enough for you to say, I don't want to do this anymore. Is that there's got to be a better way, and I'm not saying that this path was an easy trek for me, because I missed my cheeseburger and French fries and my milkshakes and like all the other lasagna and all the stuff that I used to eat. I miss it still to this day, but I've programmed my mind and my body into like that. Those aren't nutritional foods for me. All that's going to do is just carb load me, and it's not going to provide any sort of proper nutrition. And so I do think that a lot of people have a lot of beliefs around them not being able to do it on their own.
And today, there are so many more easy options to be gluten-free, to be vegetarian, to be pescatarian, to be vegan. I mean, they have like fake eggs that you can just buy at the store. My husband and I were vegan for a few months. And honestly, the reason why I stopped being vegan was because I didn't feel right. My body didn't feel good. I just was bloated all the time. I just was cramping. My body hurt all the time. And I thought to myself, this is not making me feel better at all. And I went from being a vegetarian to being a vegan, back to being a vegetarian. Now, people always try and label me. They'll say, oh, no, you eat fish, so you're a pescatarian, whatever. That's pretty much what I eat. Vegetables, and then you sprinkle in some fish. So yes, you're right. I'm a pescatarian, whatever you want to call me. Everyone's got to have a label for someone. I just can't eat a healthy diet the way I need to eat it. But meat never really if it's got legs, meat that like repulses me, And so, I don't miss the burgers, and I don't miss all that steak, and I don't miss all that stuff, because to me, there's so many other options to eat that are so much more savory, and, that I would rather have a veggie burger or go that route, and just put like avocado slices and tomatoes and lettuce and all this amazing stuff on top of it, and even like, maybe even like Brussels. I don't know. You can add so much stuff on top of it, but I do believe it's by choice, and each one of us need to realize that we're making those choices, right, Nicole? We're making those choices on how we live in these sacks, these containers, these gifts really from God that it's given us to steward our life through them. And we know that if we are created in the likeness of God, that makes us gods, and we're able to heal just as Jesus could heal. Why can't we heal? And why can't we heal our own bodies? And so I do believe that we can heal others. I do believe we can heal our own bodies if we really want to tap into that source within us.
Yep. 1,000%. And anybody can.
Yeah.
I've been witness to several people healing in front of my eyes and tapping into that source.
And you do like a lot of Instagram videos. You're active on TikTok and do videos out there. And I know that we've got them posted, but I would love for you to share, what are the usernames? They're at their fingertips. Everyone can just click on them and see them. But where's the best place? Do you want them to connect with you on LinkedIn and DM you? Or I think they're going to find out a lot about you and see more videos and education until your podcast is released. Hopefully by the time this airs, your podcast will be released so they can go check out the Meatsack Experience on all the podcast outlets out there. And of course, if it's released by the time this episode is released, we'll tag and we'll add the link so everyone can get out there and see it. But where would you like them to connect with you?
So I have a YouTube channel and I also have TikTok mostly. Instagram gets a little fidgety with the length of videos. So that's why I tend to TikTok. So my handle at TikTok is at NICLAN46.
Okay.
And my YouTube is Powerfully Creative.
Yeah. Which you are, by the way. We should have just said that from the very beginning. You are powerfully creative and you use that power in your life to create your life. We all do. That's what this podcast is about. You get to design your life the way you want your life to be designed. And so every single one of you are out there are powerfully creative. What kind of final words would you like to leave with the listeners today, Nicole?
I just think that it's really important to know that you can do anything you want to in this world. It's just a matter of how much effort do you want to put into it? How much awareness do you want to give yourself the freedom to go explore and actually step into your own power and create the life that you want to create? Because we can all do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, you're the only you that's ever been. Yep. No one else can take your meat sack. And you're the only one that will ever be. That's it. Like you don't just say, oh, I've worn this one out. Let me hop over and take hers or his. It doesn't work that way. You just said we have the right to be as powerfully creative as we want. It's waiting for us. And I'm so happy you're doing this podcast. I just think it's going to be one of the best educational platforms for so many people that are looking for answers, that are looking for guidance, that really want to understand, could I heal myself with that medication? Is it possible? And I just know you're going to offer all of this from your heart and from your education, because you always connect that energy and that healing to a medical term or physical term in the body. And that is where that connection is where a lot of others, I don't feel, have the full connection. And you bring those two together so beautifully. So the Meatsack Experience is being released on all podcast outlets. It'll be on Amazon Audible and Libsyn and Spotify and Applecast and Google Play and all that other stuff. Is it Apple Play and Google Cast? I don't know. They're all out there. Same outlets we're on. So make sure you go look for her. Nicole, thank you so much for being here today and being a guest on our show. I really look forward to following you on what you're doing with this big endeavor and healing more people in the world. And I just see it over and over again that so many individuals in the medical field are moving this direction because they know how powerful it is. And they just feel that they need to step up just like you do and be the guide to help others understand how they can do it for themselves, guided correctly, right? Yeah. Guided correctly through having that great medical advice. So thank you, Nicole, for being with us. And thank you all for being with us as well. And remember, until next time, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
We hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net/freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.